Hello, my name is Nicholas and welcome to another episode of Programming Concepts. Today we're going to talk about polymorphism. To do this we are going to use some examples and those examples will be in Java. However, a lot of this will be applicable to most mainstream programming languages. The word polymorphism comes from Greek. Poly means many or much and morph meaning form or shape. Simply put, polymorphism means many shapes or many forms. In computer science, there is some ambiguity about the word, but in this video we're going to talk about the inheritance aspect of polymorphism, also known as subtyping. So let's start with a class character, which has a few fields defined here. It has hit points, an integer. It has weapon inventory, which is a list of weapons. And then is a potion inventory, which is a list of potions. Character also has two methods or functions. Add weapon and add potion, which take weapon object and a potion object respectively. Weapon and potion are both classes. They both have a name, which is a string. The weapon also has damage and range fields, which are both integers, and a use method or use function. The potion instead has a damage boost and a hit points boost, both integers as well, and it also has the use method. How could we simplify this code? Like I said, these have some shared fields here or shared properties. So they both have the name and they both have this use method. And these add weapon and add potion methods look kind of similar. So is there something we could do to bring the shared values together? We can use this item kind of abstract class here, which both of these classes implement. It's empty for now, but we can move the name field and the use method up to this class, like this, and all of a sudden weapon and potion looks much cleaner, and we have this abstract class called item here. But we're not done yet. There's still something we can do to improve all of this. So looking back at our character class, we have two inventories here, weapon inventory and potion inventory. And we have these two methods, add weapon and add potion. Well, is there something we could do to kind of simplify this? These are kind of similar. Maybe we could just have one single inventory with a list of items and one method, add item, that takes an item, and you can either give it a weapon or a potion. That would look something like this. So we're going to remove these all of these, and we're going to replace with a much simpler pattern here, and using this abstract class item instead of being more specific and saying it's a weapon or a potion. Later we might even want to make other types of items like armor, and then we won't have to code a new method here, or I mean a new field and a new method again. And this is what we mean by polymorphism and an item, or rather a class or an object being able to take many forms. So in this case, the item is taking many forms. It can take the form of a weapon or it can take the form of potion. Polymorphism is just a very fancy word for a very simple concept. So there's one more detail I want to talk about quickly. There's this abstract notation that we use here on this item class. We could have omitted that and kept item as a regular class, just like weapon or potion. But instead we said abstract, and that means that it's an abstract class and it can't be instantiated by itself. It does bring some other benefits, but the fact that you can't do this, you can't just instantiate a new item without specifying what kind of item it is. In most kind of languages like Java, it's not going to compile, or most typed languages it won't let you compile. And in a lot of cases we don't want it to compile because it doesn't make sense to instantiate a new item. That doesn't mean anything. Item is just a concept. We want it to be something, a weapon, potion, whatever. And so we're forced to instantiate either a weapon or a potion. This will compile just fine. And notice that we don't have to specify what kind of item the actual variable is here, right? So we just specify that the variable is an item, but when we instantiate, we have to say what kind of item it is. So just a few words of warning. about using kind of these abstractions and abusing inheritance. It's good to recognize the patterns and cases where it's applicable, but I would try to avoid preemptively using abstractions when you think you might have shared common functionality in the future, but you don't now. Just keep it simple. And that was inheritance or polymorphism, subtyping, whatever you want to call it, in a nutshell. Thank you for listening, and until next time.